Aloha! Sorry for the interruption of the 5th series of our podcast. Welcome to Legends, a limited number of episodes featuring iconic surfers, shaper of our surf history. We hope you're going to enjoy them. I have to say it was a true honor for me to interview them. Hello again, welcome to the 4th episode of our Legends series. Today with us from Hawaii, legendary world champion Felipe Pomar. We discuss with him about winning the 1965 world title, surfing till 100 and much more. Hello Mr. Pomar, welcome to the show. Where are you today?
Aloha, I'm on the island of Kauai.
How is the afternoon, right? How was the day so far? Everything.
I think it's about 3 o'clock. It's a sunny day, and the surf was very nice this morning.
Fantastic. Today, we're going to talk about surf. We're going to talk about your amazing career. The first question that I have for you is, in your opinion, what is the most important thing in surfing?
Well, in my opinion, I can only speak about myself. And at different points in my life, different things have been the most important about surfing. At one point, it was the adventure and the challenge. And now it's probably more the fun and the health.
Okay. Like to be able to keep going out there and to have fun, right? I agree with you, it changes like with the time of our life, but I guess there is the fun component that is always there, right? I mean, even
right. In my case, I just figured it out the other day. I've been surfing for either 63 or 64 years.
Nice.
So, that's a long time. And so things do change over time.
Definitely. And, I was talking with Nat Young from Australia, the world champion as well. And he told me that, Alessandro, the most important thing for him is still to be able to catch 5 waves per day. If I go out and I catch five waves, I'm a happy person at my age. So, of course,
Very good. Well, I'm older than Nat. And when the waves get big, I'm happy with one good wave a day.
Okay. Fine. Fair enough. So I divided the interview of today in a different section. The first one is talking about you as a surfer. And so going back in the days and talking about your first proper surfboard. I mean, the one that was yours and that maybe it was gifted to you or you bought it. Do you remember that surfboard? And by any chance, do you still have it?
I'm sorry to say that I do not have it, but I remember it well. It was shaped by a friend who's a person that took me surfing. And at some point he asked me, would you like me to shape you a surfboard? And I said, yes, of course. And so he shaped me a board out of balsa wood. And it was my first board. And I remember it very well, but I don't know how long I kept it because the foam boards showed up pretty soon after that, maybe within a year or two. And foam was a new thing, and it was lighter, and it was more advanced. So when foam became available, I gave up the balsa board.
That's a technology, advancement, but still,
correct.
I guess it was cool still to have that balsa board. Was it heavy, right?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Those are classic boards that are part of the history. Yeah, but everything starts even from that, even earlier, right? From wood. And if we have to talk about your career as a surfer, in your opinion, what would you consider the defining moment of your career?
Well, I was thinking about that earlier. And it's very difficult to pick one, because a very important one was when I won the World Championships. That was, very important. It has changed many things in my life. But another very important one was when I surfed a tsunami with the same friend who built me the board, my first board.
Okay.
And a third one is when I had a near-death experience under the water. And so all of those three, it is very difficult to pick which one was the most important.
We're gonna talk about all of them today. So like this, the people that will listen will understand. So if we start from the 1965 world title, in your opinion, winning a world title then, so like 56 years ago, and winning a world title today, is something has changed, or
the amount of money that you make has changed.
Of course, but the rest remain the same, I guess.
No, it's also different that back then they normally held a world championship every 2 years, and it was only one event. And now there are many events held over the year, and they add up the points. So that would be another big difference.
So we can say that winning back then, first of all, you are double champion because you are champion for 2 years, and then the second thing is that it was like the winner takes it all. You had one chance.
Correct.
So more difficult, right?
In some way more difficult, and some people would say today is more fair, because you winning once is different than winning many times.
Okay, so we can conclude that it is different, but being a world champion is still something super, super important. It's.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah, it projects you to the legend status, right? Once you're there, nobody can steal it away from you. And in your life, you met a lot of surfers of any kind. Some of them were famous, some of them were just normal surfers. Was there a meeting that was particularly meaningful for you?
Probably meeting Kahanamoku, who's considered the father of modern day surfing. That was a very special event in my life.
Tell us more about that meeting. How did it happen?
Well, I actually got to meet Duke maybe half a dozen times, but the one that I remember, because I have a picture of it, is at the first Duke Kahanamoku Invitational Championships, which were held at Sunset Beach. I have a picture shaking Duke's hand. And so that is a special picture. And I see it frequently because it comes up on Facebook and other places. And so, that reminds me of Duke, who was a very special person. He embodied the Aloha spirit, which is so much a part of Hawaii.
Yeah. Much part of the Hawaii should be much part of surfing in the whole world, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so I'm reading about you today, and I was reading about Surf Till 100, right? And I was reading about it, and I got my attention got catched by this saying, the old Chinese saying that if you want to, what was that? If you want to
you want to cross the mountain.
Yes, you have to ask somebody that was already there, right? It's coming back. So,
right.
What is the key learning that you had so far?
Probably that health is more than the absence of disease. You can be healthy, or you can be very healthy, or you can be extremely healthy. There are many levels of health. And if you want to live a long time and enjoy life for a long time, you have to pursue developing your health. And so it's not just enough to feel okay. You have to learn about health and you have to live it every day. A good way of thinking about it is that there is a health bank, and every decision you make every day is either adding health or taking health away from your health bank. And if you live long enough, you're going to need every little bit of health that you were able to deposit in your health bank.
Wow, definitely. I see what you mean, and of course, like it's very difficult to think nowadays, to the future. But if we don't do that, we might risk, right? So being healthy and having a healthy lifestyle is super important.
And by the way, I would like to give credit to Dr. Dorian Paskowitz.
Mm-hmm.
He was a doctor who developed his health and served until a very advanced age. He had a very interesting life, and he wrote a book where he talks about the things that I have just mentioned.
Yeah, legendary Doc Paskovich, and I've seen like a lot of footage of him surfing like every day in Hawaii, right?
He lived in Hawaii for many years, and he also lived in California and in Mexico for many years.
Definitely a legendary, prominent figure in the surf history, right?
Absolutely.
All his family and all them surfer, and so it's great, a great person. And so, going back to Surf Till 100, you are organizing also expeditions, right? With sometimes per year, I don't know how many times, and the next one, if I well understood, is in Peru, right?
Well, it was supposed to happen last year in May, but because of COVID, it was not possible to travel. So we're hoping that things will get better and we can do it this year in May, but it's still a little bit up in the air because the COVID things change all the time.
Yeah, it's the world we are living in. It's unpredictable, and we need to adapt with what is happening. If now Omicron is going, and it makes the travel difficult, but we hope will change. We hope in May you can go to Peru. So with these 10 guests, right? Not so many, but what they should expect people when they travel with you.
Well, number one, Peru has surf every single day.
That's a good reason.
So that is good reason number one. Good reason number two is that we will share, and I say we because it's not only me. I have two partners. One is Jeff Hackman and one is Tom Woods. And we will share many of the important things that people can do to stay healthy and to extend their surfing life. And number three, Peru has 5,000 years of surf history. And so we will be visiting many archaeological sites and places like the Temple of the Moon and a number of other locations where people that were surfing 5,000 years ago lived and have their art and their buildings still available for us to see and appreciate.
Fantastic. It looks like a very, very interesting trip. It makes me want to join. A bit far. I live a little bit far from that, but you know.
Once you get on an airplane, it doesn't matter whether you're flying for 6 hours or 16 hours, it's all the same.
Yeah, as long as you're able to sleep in it, right?
And so if you go surfing the day before you get on the plane, you will sleep well.
Exactly. So talking about Peru, I had the opportunity to interview for the Olympic Games Luca Messinas, that he was representing Peru at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. In your opinion, how Peru surfers and Peru surfing evolved in all these years? You were referring to the first days of Peru, so we are talking about centuries ago, right?
No, Peru surfing goes back to the days of the pyramids in Egypt. Yeah, it's 5,000 years. And as archaeologists find out more, it will probably go back even further.
Wow.
Yeah. And Peru has some great surfers, but the surfing industry in Peru is considerably smaller than in places like Australia and Brazil. And so the problem in Peru is getting sponsorships.
Yeah, true.
Peruvian surfers don't have the type of sponsorships that allow them to travel around the world to compete comfortably. Or maybe one or two might, but most of them don't. So that makes it difficult for them.
Is that what we were saying before about being world champion or being on the tour? That okay, today they pay, it's bigger, but also the cost, I guess, are much bigger. If you are able to, in order to be there, you have to participate to so many events and travel the whole world, right? So
well, that's true. But for example, the world championship that I won was the first official world championship organized by the International Surfing Federation. And what I won was a trophy.
Okay.
And trophies are very nice, but you can't buy anything with a trophy.
Not really, unless it's
not really.
Unless it's solid gold.
Yeah, and it was not solid gold.
But it gives you the opportunity to be recognized as a world champion, and then maybe make some business, because of that, and
correct. Actually, I got an unusual opportunity by winning that world championship. I got an interview in Hollywood with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. And they offered me an opportunity to move to Hollywood and to learn how to act.
Oh, okay.
And I turned them down because I had never wanted to be an actor. So I figured I probably would not be a very good actor since I was not interested in that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back to Hawaii, where I loved the big waves, and I wanted to continue doing that.
They couldn't take you away from your passion. That's the thing.
Correct. And I'm very happy that I did not get sidetracked, because that was quite a tempting offer.
I would say so. Definitely, it doesn't happen every day that they tell you come and become an actor, right? But that
correct.
Yeah, exactly. So before we were talking about two waves that change your life in a way or another. One was the tsunami, and the other one it was like in Hawaii, where almost you risk your life. Let's talk about the tsunami first. So surfing that tsunami is a big thing, right? It's you need to be very brave. How did it go?
Well, just like today, there was a handful of us who wanted to ride the biggest waves in the world. You know, it's happening today and it was happening back then as well. And so my friend Pete, the same one who built me the balsa board,
Okay.
and we were training to ride the biggest waves in the world. And but what I mean by training is we were getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we were running and doing exercise and getting into the best possible physical condition so that when the waves came, we could go out and survive riding the biggest waves in the world. And so that's what we were training for. And one morning, there was an earthquake that lasted about a minute and 48 seconds or a minute and 52 seconds.
Wow.
And it was about 8 or 8.2 on the Richter scale. And all of a sudden, we had the opportunity to paddle out and surf, try to ride the waves generated by that earthquake, which was extremely powerful and lasted for such a long time. And we didn't have a lot of time to think about it. You know, we either had to go out or not go out.
Yeah.
And so I told him, let's go surfing. Let's go surf the tsunami. And he said, okay. And so we went.
My God, you know, like most of the people would say, let's go and surf the tsunami. They would say, no way.
Yeah, everybody else was running for the hills.
Exactly.
And we were paddling out to see if we could ride the biggest waves in the world.
Yeah, you did it. So congratulations for that. You know, it's again, he's one of that stays. Right?
It worked out different than I had imagined. We got sucked out to sea, and you know, we thought we were going to die, and it was very, very scary. And eventually, we were able to ride some big waves, and we made it back to the beach. And we were very, very, very happy to be alive.
Yeah. Let's say we can definitely give an advice not to go for tsunami waves unless you are like super prepared and healthy and fit.
I think that is good advice.
So talking about other waves that, of course, characterize your life as a surfer, there is this story about Hawaii, you know, where you had like a near-death experience. Would you like to share with us what happened at that moment?
Sure, I'll summarize it a little bit because it's a long story.
Yes, of course.
I was surfing by myself and I was inside the barrel of a big wave. And I looked up and I realized that it was going to collapse and break on me. So I jumped off. And then all of a sudden, I felt like I was in a different place. And I did not know where I was, but I saw this amazing light that was moving in slow motion towards me. And this light was very, very beautiful. It had my attention, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw a body that was very far away, maybe 40 feet away or maybe 50 feet away. There was a body, but I was interested in the light. And I kept looking at the light and I saw the light do these amazing things. And then I got curious and I had a thought. And the thought was, I wonder whose body that is. So when I had that thought, I turned away from the light and I looked at the body, which was motionless, very far away. And once I focused on the body, it started moving. And at first, it moved very slowly. And then it accelerated and moved very fast. And in an instant, it came right up to me. So I could have touched it, but I didn't. But it came at me backwards. So all I could see was the back of somebody and the back of somebody's head. So when it came right up to me, I thought, I wonder whose face that body has. And then the body turned around and it had my face.
Oh,
And that was a very scary moment because I did not understand what was happening, but I understood that it was very serious. And I had this very intense feeling in the pit of my stomach. And then the next thing I knew, I was underwater and I was stroking for the surface. And I remember giving about 2 or 3 strokes. And then on the 4th stroke, thinking I have very little air left. I need to breathe. And then I gave another stroke and I decided I only had 1 more stroke in me. And so I gave that last stroke and I took in a breath and I was up on the surface.
wow.
So, yeah.
But that shows that, like there is something beyond just being a human being and a body on earth, right?
That's possible. And a friend of mine who was an oceanographer had a different opinion. He said that is just your brain working because you were still alive. And so, whether the light was coming to take me somewhere else or whether it was just the brain making connections, I guess I will not know until I die.
Yeah, it's we will never discover that really, but it's good to. I think it's good to know that there was like a kind of hand that helped you to that with that last stroke to go and breathe, right? And
That's possible. And another interesting thing is that it was a beautiful experience. The light that was coming to me was amazing, and the colors I was seeing were incredible. I've never seen such bright colors.
wow, what an experience! It's like, of course, that changed your life, right?
It probably affected my life in many ways that I don't even quite understand.
Yeah. And also, fast forwarding to today, as of now, I guess the listener have understood that you are a very, very busy person and you keep yourself busy. Is that something that you are working on particularly that you want to share with us?
Yes, like I mentioned before, Peru has a surfing history that goes back 5,000 years. And most surfers have never heard about it. They know nothing about it. So we're putting together a presentation and we have a documentary which took us 30 years to make.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to be showing this presentation and the documentary so that people understand that surfing has a much longer history than they realize.
Wow. That's going to be so important. When you're going to release the documentary?
Well, in a perfect world, we would have already released it.
Okay.
But we want to do as good a job as we can and make sure that it's all presented well and well organized. So I hope that it will be not more than 30 or 60 days when it is available.
Okay, that's fantastic. Looking forward to see it. And
now the only people that will see the premiere showing are people who sign up to our Surf Till 100 website for our newsletter, because we will be inviting the people that sign up. So if you want to see it, please go to Surf Till 100 website and sign up for our newsletter. And that way we will invite you when it is ready to be seen.
Definitely, we'll all do that. Now we made me curious, so definitely, if I'm not done it already, but if I will do twice, so double maybe.
Very good. We will invite you twice.
Thank you. We're gonna finish our interview with a short question and answer. So please, session. So please answer the first thing that comes up to your mind. Okay.
Okay.
The best surfboard that you ever ridden.
Okay, right now I am doing stand-up surfing.
Okay.
But if we're talking about surfing surfboard, it was probably a board made by Dick Brewer.
Wow. Legend.
And right now I'm doing stand-up, so it is probably a stand-up board made by Terry Chung.
Okay. Okay. How is the transition between surfboard and stand-up?
Well, in my case, I was surfing a very, very big day, and I had my biggest board, and I only caught one wave in 3 hours. And Laird Hamilton was out on a stand-up, and he got many, many waves.
Okay.
So that's the day that I decided I had to learn how to stand up.
Okay. Good competition within you and Laird on catching waves, right?
Well, there really is no competition, but he showed me that it was a superior wave vehicle to catch big waves,
Oh, wow.
at least in those conditions.
Okay. The best shaper of all time, in your opinion?
I would probably go to Dick Brewer again.
Definitely, I agree. Personal question, your favorite song?
Well, of course, that is a hard one, but my favorite recent song is called Ghost Town, and it was the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I heard about it. You know, they released it in March last year, right? When the world was locked down, but they made it long before it was. You know.
All I know is that I heard it recently, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love the Rolling Stones. So I agree. I agree definitely with you. Your favorite surf spot?
A place called Laniakea on Oahu.
Okay. Favorite surfer of all time?
That again is very, very difficult. I would probably choose Duka Hanamoku.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you never be wrong if you go for Duke, right? No,
well, you know, he was definitely extremely influential in making modern day surfing popular. If it had not been for Duka Hanamoku, I probably would have never surfed.
Oh, wow. That's important for you.
Exactly. So, you know, to me, there's no doubt, actually, now that I think about it, that he is the most important to me.
Okay. And the last question is a little bit unusual, has nothing to do with surfing, stand-up paddling, or whatever. Well, I want to know your best relationship advice.
My best relationship advice was recently told to me by my fiancée, who said, be the person you want your partner to be.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense.
Quite meaningful, right? Whatever you give, you get.
Correct.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Pomar, for being with me on the show today. And I look forward to talk to you very, very soon. And I will subscribe the newsletter again.
Very good. And hopefully you will join us one of these times in one of our Surf Till 100 adventures.
I want to do that, definitely. I will ask my wife permission.
Very good, Alessandro. Or some people bring their wife along, so you can do one or the other.
Okay, could be an option. So she's not jealous.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.thetempleofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!